Life is a loop, as suggested by the great philosopher Justin Timberlake. What goes around comes back around, and so are these modern classic motorcycles. Meet the Royal Enfield Meteor and the Honda H'ness CB350.
Styling for both the motorcycles is poles apart.
But both the motorcycles speak classic retro design language, and both show that really well. Considering the tall stance and the smooth sloping back of the Meteor, it gives a proper retro cruiser vibe, whereas the H'ness is longer and has a very straightforward old school appeal.
Thanks to the stance, which is a lot more comfortable for the Meteor, while the stance of the CB350 is a lot more engaging.
The Meteor has no chrome anywhere on its body whatsoever. The H'ness is loaded with chrome parts wherever Honda found the space.
And talking about modern classics, well, you've got no LEDs except for the ring lights on the Meteor 350, while there are complete LED setup on the CB350.
Both these bikes have alloy wheels with the number of spokes that varies, and both have the same 19-inch front wheel. But when it comes to the rear, the Meteor gets a 17-inch wheel, whereas the H'ness gets an 18-inch wheel.
The thickness is also different for the rear tires. Meteor gets a 140 section rubber, while the same for the H'ness is a 130 section rubber. Now the seat cushioning on both the motorcycle is very different. You've got a split seat setup over here, that's a single piece seat, and the cushioning is actually much softer with a better contour on the Meteor, while the seat of the H'ness is slightly harder and not too spacious. Now these are the basic things that help you decide either of these two motorcycles, but let's get on with some tests. And test number 1 is nothing else but the exhaust note. This one is a lot more bassy, has that thump, and it feels like this is a basics motorcycle because it has got numb. That one is just outright loud. The wheelbase of the H'ness is 41 mm longer than the Meteor, but the upright stance and the Street Fighter seating posture makes it super easy and nimble for challenges such as figure of 8. The weight distribution is very well balanced, and hence the H'ness is easy to maneuver. When it comes to the Meteor, it is a cruiser motorcycle as you sit a bit relaxed compared to the H'ness, but the smaller wheelbase helps in maneuvering the motorcycle despite the heavier handlebar. The weight distribution is not as balanced as the H'ness, and hence I had to figure the figure of 8. Get it? No? Anyways. I don't like murdering the Fazbear again and again, but luckily he is immortal and indestructible. Jokes apart, let's see whether the Meteor will stop in time or crush Mr. Fazbear. And yes, it does! Time for the H'ness to take on the lowness. Doesn't sound very well. Let's get on with the test. The H'ness also manages to stop in time with better distance to spare. I guess it's a lucky day for Mr. Fazbear. We saw the Honda H'ness was better than the Meteor in the figure of it. But is it the same when it comes to the Slalom? Let's check it out. After a smooth start, you can see me struggling a bit due to the longer wheelbase. The length of the bike affects the entry and exit points of the turns, which ultimately results in difficult handling in tight spots. The Meteor struggled in the figure of eight due to heavy handlebar and cruiser type seating posture, but when it comes to the Slalom, it feels much better than the H'ness. Smaller wheelbase and the feedback rich handlebar does come to the rescue with a very close time. Now with the Pillion, let's see the difference, and immediately the Honda feels a lot more different. The shorter handlebar helps, but the extra Pillion weight doesn't. Same with the Meteor, the handlebar feedback is similar, while the Pillion is a bit more comfortable as I play around. The Pillion doesn't bother me as much as the time is very similar to the H'ness. It is now time to go off the road for our ultimate comfort test. My Pillion backed off, but hey, Mr. Fazbear never says no. Suspension setup on both the motorcycles is similar with almost the same suspension travel. Feedback is quite rich and both have a bounce back effect on bigger bumps. The H'ness is more suitable for the rider, but for the Pillion, you can see Mr. Fazbear bounces way too much on it. The Meteor on the other hand absorbs those bumps a bit better and is overall more comfortable. I know. These classic motorcycles aren't meant to lift the wheel, and the Meteor does ask for a lot of effort. The H'ness on the other hand lifts like a pro. And we are back with the toe challenge. Starting off with the Meteor, the torquey Royal Enfield motor pulls the 1000 kg sedan under 6 seconds. For the same distance, we pit the Honda H'ness too, but the motor isn't as torquey as it takes a little more than 6 seconds to pull the same car. V-box tests are based on GPS to get accurate acceleration numbers. The speedometers have some error, hence you will see the 0 to 100 time after it crosses the 105 km/h mark on the meter. 18 seconds wasn't too bad for the Meteor, but the H'ness is almost 4.5 seconds quicker. Well. At the end, we have the vibration test. Royal Enfields used to vibrate way too much, but the new engine on the Meteor makes it quite smooth even at idle. Honda is known for its smoothness, but the long stroke motor isn't the most refined as we expect. At idle, it does vibrate a bit. Let's see both the clips together. Now, can you tell us which vibrates more? So we are done with the test, and it is pretty clear that if you want a simple motorcycle, no nonsense, which is good on comfort and yes can go the distance, then you should pick the Meteor. If you want something that is loaded with technology, has all LEDs and is rough and yet very aggressive in nature, then you should get the CB H'ness. Well, there is a condition though. If you are in the tier 1 cities or in the cities where there is a big wing showroom, only then you can pick this motorcycle, because the service will be a problem if you are not. If you want something that has nothing to do with the service network issue, then Royal Enfield is the one, because it is having service network in each and every country possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, do hit the like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. And yes, I did say each and every country, because the Royal Enfield is present in each and every country possible in the world now.